Hi, I'm Lunarcraft from Psychic Truth, and I present the weekly AstroTarot sessions. You're welcome to join me while I focus on a particular star sign and consider the planetary movements and the potential effects these could have on your star sign, Leo. I'll then follow this by drawing 3 tarot cards that I'll interpret alongside the astrological information. I'll start by looking at the planetary aspects to get a general feel for what's in store. This week's overview includes 7 conjunctions, 6 of which involve the moon, 5 sextile, all involving the moon, 1 square that involves the moon, and 4 transits and moon phase changes. Again, 4 involving the moon. In total, there are 17 aspects, much shorter list, of which 16 involve the moon. And if you remember, the moon triggers the interactions between the planets and their host signs and astrological houses. But relax, I'm not working through the list, even though it's a lot shorter. But what I have done is highlighted some events for the coming week. And starting off, the moon is partnering with Mars. That brings a tendency for us to be irritable, violent, not necessarily physically violent, boastful, but also passionate. Keep an eye open for inner tension that could manifest as muscle tightness, she says, flexing her shoulders, because that's where my tension goes. Also indicated are disputes within marriages, let's put it that way. They may flare up, but quite literally, they flare. They're done, dusted, gone. Then the moon moves into Aries, and that fills us with a bundle of energy, and we discover a confidence in our own skills that we perhaps didn't realise before. Although we act with responsibility, we're also spontaneous. Our minds are sharp, and any new projects are started with very high levels of enthusiasm. We're also blessed with enhanced assertiveness skills. All in all, this is an excellent time to tackle difficult things, which we may have been ignoring or burying our heads in the sand about, but once they're done, gone, can't bother you anymore. The partnership between the moon and Pluto causes us to be more sentimental. But balancing that, we enjoy adventures and activities that cause the adrenaline to flow. It's also very likely that the travel bug could well bite you. So look at the range of potential destinations, make some decisions, start planning. The moon and Mercury join forces, and that provides a good foundation and a basis for all business dealings. That is as a result of our active mental state. And additionally, we're blessed with good judgment. Our mental abilities also give us the capability of creating amazing connections and of combining different aspects together. Bring your focus at this time onto reaching your customers. Tried and trusted methods, yes, of course they're effective. But the time is approaching, fast approaching, when you would benefit from exploring a wider range of methods. Rest assured that all of this preparation will contribute positively to achieving overall success. And again, we've got a partnership between the Moon and Pluto, but on this occasion, it may cause a dreamy disposition that could lead to getting lost in wishful thinking. Now, don't get me wrong, wishful thinking is useful, but not when you spend your whole time daydreaming, because you won't put anything into action. But also you may find that you take on a rather passive attitude. Just let things flow. But again, it doesn't put ideas into action. You may also find yourself deceiving yourself that everything is hunky-dory, going really, really well. You may also feel that you're not balanced at the moment, and your sensitivity is perhaps going to be, I won't say much more sensitive, but it's the same thing. You will be super sensitive. That's a better way of doing it. Okay, and then the Moon moves into Taurus, and that energy helps us to keep and grow our money and possessions. That will in turn support our feelings of security. Our focus will be firmly on home and family matters. But alongside of that, we also have a strong need, yes, need to find enjoyment. So it's now time for me to draw out 3 tarot cards. Just make sure that all the energies are cleared from them. Okay, that's lovely. Let's cut the deck. And 3 cards coming up. 1. And 2. And that one. 3. Okay, let's have a look at what we've got. Okay. Not bad cards at all. The opening card is the 5 of Wands. Now, I always liken this to knights of old practicing their skills in, what do they call it? The tilt yard. And all it is referring to really is striving to be the best version of you. Now, that is something that you do naturally, so it's not out of place. And it does mean that you will be ready to take on whatever challenges are presented to you. So keep up the good work, basically. Your middle card is the Hermit, and he is suggesting that you give yourself time to relax, to spend time using the dreaminess that is indicated in the astrological aspects, so that you can build on those ideas. They're really good ideas that are going to come at you. They will pick up on your artistic and dramatic tendencies. And in turn, it will make your position as a leader a lot more secure. So be prepared to use your creativity, use your levels of concentration, but you can only do that if you set aside dedicated time. And then finally, you've got the Three of Wands. And to me, this is all about looking ahead. And if you remember, there was that bit about being bitten by the travel bug, and that's what this card says to me. It's time to explore new places, to round off your education, to feed your personality. Really nice card. Hi, I'm Lunarcraft from Psychic Truth, and I present the weekly AstroTarot sessions. You're welcome to join me while I focus on a particular star sign and consider the planetary movements and the potential effects these could have on your star sign, Virgo. I'll then follow this by drawing 3 tarot cards that I'll interpret alongside the astrological information. But I'll start by looking at the planetary aspects to get a general feel for what's in store. This week's overview includes 7 conjunctions, 6 of which involve the moon, 5 sextiles, all involving the moon, 1 square, again involving the moon, 4 transits and moon phase changes, again all of which involve the moon. In total, there are 17 aspects, a much, much shorter list. And of those 17, 16 involve the moon. And if you remember, the moon triggers the interactions between the planets and their host signs and astrological houses. However, I have picked out some highlights for the coming week, starting off with the moon joining forces with Mars. And that will bring a tendency for us to be irritable, violent, not necessarily physically violent, boastful, but also passionate. Also, look out for inattention that could well manifest as muscle tightness. There are also indications that marriages and long-term partnerships may have some disagreements, but they will flare and fizzle out again. The moon moves into Aries, and that fills us with a bundle of energy, and we discover a confidence in our own skills that perhaps we weren't previously aware of. Although we act with responsibility, we can also be spontaneous. Our minds are sharp, and any new projects that we start at this time, we will do so with very high levels of enthusiasm. And we're blessed with high-level assertiveness skills. All in all, this is an excellent time to tackle difficult topics some of which we may have been ignoring or pushing onto the back burner, but once they're dealt with, they can have no hold over us. So, tackle them, get them out of the way, move on. Okay, then the Moon and Pluto become a partnership, and it causes us to be more sentimental. Balancing that sentimentality is the enjoyment of adventures and activities that cause the adrenaline to flow. It's very likely that the travel bug will sink its teeth into you. So, spend some time looking at the range of potential destinations. Start planning. It's been a long time, so make the most of this opportunity. The Moon and Mercury team up and provide a good foundation and a sound basis for all business matters, and that results from our active mental state and our good judgment. Our mental abilities also give us the capability of creating amazing connections and to combine different aspects together. During this period, bring your focus onto ways of reaching your customers. Yes, stick with the tried and tested, but it's time to explore new ways of doing things. But I can assure you, all this preparation will contribute to achieving overall success. Pluto and the Moon team up again, but this time it could cause you to be dreamy, and that could lead to getting lost in wishful thinking. Wishful thinking is good. It's where we germinate ideas, where we start making our goals and putting together action plans. So don't feel you can't indulge in some wishful thinking, but be prepared to pull yourself back to reality. Alongside that, you are quite likely to adopt a passive attitude. Again, that's fine, but don't get stuck there. Because alongside all of that, there could be a tendency towards deceiving yourself that everything is going fine, or that you're further along the path than you actually are. You may also feel that you're out of balance somewhat and super sensitive. Then the Moon moves into Taurus, and that energy helps us to keep and to grow our money and possessions. And that in turn supports feelings of security. It's very likely that your focus will be on home and family. But alongside of that, there's also a strong need, yes, need to find enjoyment, a way of letting off steam. Okay, it's now time for me to draw 3 tarot cards. Let me just make sure that they're running clean, not sticky. Yeah, good. Right, okay, 3 cards coming up. There's one. There's, 2. And, that one. I hope that's as good as it felt. Okay. Very nice. Oh, I knew it was going to be a good one. I did. And it is. Right. First off, you've got the Empress. Now, the Empress is all about things feminine. But that's not all she represents. She is all about being creative. And with that, it involves being systematical. And that suits you down to the ground. It's also about following set steps in order to finish a task. Again, something that really suits you. It's all about being productive. She can tend to be a little bit critical at times, but hey, that is you as well. I'm not saying it as a bad thing. The middle card is the 4 of Swords, which really is picking up on the astrological information about giving yourself time to recharge your energy, but also dedicated time to spend thinking, planning, looking at the different options. And the card that I felt was a really good one is the World. That tells me that you are moving in the right direction, that you are coming close to the end of this particular phase of your life path, but also getting ready for the next phase. Hi, I'm Lunarcraft from Psychic Truth, and I present the weekly AstroTarot sessions. You're very welcome to join me while I focus on a particular star sign and consider the planetary movements and the potential effects these could have on your star sign, Libra. I'll then follow this by drawing 3 tarot cards that I'll interpret alongside the astrological information. But I'll start by looking at the planetary aspects to get a general feel for what's in store. This week's overview includes 7 conjunctions, 6 of which involve the moon, 5 sextiles, all of which involve the moon, 1 square that, guess what, involves the moon, and 4 transits and moon phase changes, again, all involving the moon. In total, there are 17 aspects, so a much, much, much shorter list than it has been of late. Of those 17 aspects, 16 involve the moon. And if you remember, the moon triggers the interactions between the planets and their host signs and astrological houses. Don't worry, you can sit back and relax. I am not going to work through all those 17 aspects, even if it is a shorter list. But I have picked out some highlights for that we can look forward to in the coming week. And starting off, we've got the moon partnering with Mars, and that will bring a tendency for us to be irritable, violent even, not necessarily physically violent, I hasten to add, boastful, but most of all, passionate. Look out for inattention that could manifest as muscle tightness. Also indicated is that disputes in marriages or long-term relationships may flare up. But the operative phrase is flare up, because as soon as it's done, it's gone. It will be forgotten. No lasting adverse effects. The moon moves into Aries, and that fills us with a bundle of energy. We also discover a confidence in our own skills that perhaps we hadn't realised before. Although we act with responsibility, we can and probably will be spontaneous alongside of that. Our minds are sharp, and any new projects that are started at this time will be blessed with high levels of enthusiasm and strong assertiveness skills. All in all, this is an excellent time to tackle difficult things that perhaps have been pushed onto the back burner or indeed ignored. Get them dealt with, get them out the way, move on. Once they're done, they can't influence you any longer. Then the moon and Pluto form a partnership, and that causes us to be more sentimental. But balancing that, we enjoy adventures and activities that cause the adrenaline to flow. Also, it's very likely that you will be bitten by the travel bug. It's a long time since we've been able to plan and consider where we'd like to go. So make the most of the opportunity. The Moon and Mercury join forces and provides a good foundation, a basis for all business transactions. And that is as a result of our active mental state and our good judgment. Mental abilities also give us the capability of creating amazing connections and of combining different aspects together. At this time, bring your focus onto ways of reaching your customers, your clients. Yes, the tried and tested methods work, but the time has come to explore new ways of doing things. All this preparation will contribute to achieving overall success. Again, the Moon and Pluto join forces, but on this occasion, it may cause a dreamy disposition that could end up with becoming lost in wishful thinking. Now, don't get me wrong, wishful thinking is good. What is not so good is getting stuck in that state. But alongside of that dreaminess, you may well find that you adopt a more passive attitude. Let things just flow. Again, it's not a bad thing. But if it paralyzes you, makes you not take action, not make plans, not work towards your goals, then that's not so good. Also, be aware that there could be an increased likelihood of deceiving yourself, thinking you're making better progress than actually you are. You could also feel that things are out of balance, and you may be super sensitive. Then the moon moves into Taurus, and that energy helps to keep you growing your money and increasing your possessions. It also contributes to your feelings of security. Your focus will very likely be on home and family. However, alongside of that, there's a very strong need to find enjoyment. Yes, I did say need. A time to let off steam. Okay, it's now time for me to draw 3 tarot cards. Right, I just want to make sure they're clear of any previous energies. Oops. I think that one's meant for me. That's the 3rd time that particular card has tried to leap out. Okay, let's see. What have we got for you? Oh, that one. That one, definitely. That one. Okay. Let's put those so I don't scatter them everywhere. Okay. Nice. Lovely. Okay. What have we got? The first card to be turned over is the moon. Now, a lot of people put this down to quite negative meanings. However, as a Cancerian, and the moon being my ruler, I cannot do that. But I will say that the moon gives energy to creativity, to emotions, feelings. It's what sustains our inner peace and harmony. So that should certainly help you along the way. The moon can also mean revealing secrets, something that has been deliberately kept hidden could well rise to the surface. I don't see that as anything negative, but rather it will bring more of a balance to you. And then you've got the 10 of Pentacles, which is all about happy families, which in turn reflects the astrological signs of harmony within the family, of living and getting along well together. Yes, in order to achieve that, quite often it will involve having a debate with other family members. Maybe reaching a point of cooperation or diplomacy, but you will get through it. And the final card is the Three of Pentacles, which is all about recognizing your willingness to work, to get things right, to share your skills, your knowledge with other people. Hi, I'm Lunarcraft from Psychic Truth, and I present the weekly AstroTarot sessions. You're very welcome to join me while I focus on a particular star sign and consider the planetary movements and the potential effects these could have on your star sign, Scorpio. I'll then follow up by drawing 3 tarot cards that I'll interpret alongside the astrological information. I'll start by looking at the planetary aspects to get a general feel for what's in store. This week's overview includes 7 conjunctions, 6 that involve the moon, 5 sextile, all of which involve the moon, 1 square, and guess what? With the moon, and 4 transits and moon phase changes, all 4 involving the moon. So, a rather quieter week this week, with a total of 17 aspects, of which 16 involve the moon. And if you remember, the moon triggers the interactions between the planets and their host signs and astrological houses. Don't worry, you can sit back and relax. I am not working through the whole list of aspects, even if it is much, much shorter. But I have pulled out some highlights for the coming week, starting off with the moon partnering with Mars, bringing a tendency for us to be irritable, violent, not necessarily physically violent, I should add, boastful, but most of all, passionate. Look out for inattention that could manifest as muscle tightness. Also indicated is that marriages or long-term partnerships could have disagreements that flare up, but once they've flared up, they're gone. So no lasting adverse effects. The moon in Aries fills us with a bundle of energy, and we discover a confidence in our own skills that perhaps has evaded us until now. Although we act responsibly, we're also able to be spontaneous. Our minds are sharp, and any new projects that we start, we do so with high levels of enthusiasm and with enhanced assertiveness skills. All in all, this is an excellent time to tackle those difficult things that may have been put on the back burner or we've tried to ignore. But rest assured, once they're dealt with, they lose their sting. So get on and do it, then move on. The partnership between the moon and Pluto causes us to be more sentimental. Balancing that We look for and enjoy adventures and activities that cause the adrenaline to flow. Also likely is that you may well be bitten by the travel bug. So, spend some time looking at the range of potential destinations. Start planning. It's been a long time coming. Make the most of it and sharpen up those research skills. The Moon and Mercury join forces, and that provides a good foundation and sound basis for all business transactions. And that results from our active mental state, and we're blessed with good judgment. Our mental abilities also give us the capability of creating absolutely amazing connections and of combining different aspects together. You'd be well advised to bring your focus onto ways of reaching your customers or clients around this time. Yes, keep using the tried and tested methods, but it's also time to explore new ways of reaching out. One thing that can be assured is that all this preparation will contribute positively to achieving success. And again, the Moon and Pluto partner up. But on this occasion, it may cause a dreamy disposition that could lead to getting lost in wishful thinking. Please don't get me wrong, wishful thinking is really useful. It's where ideas are germinated. It's where plans can be thought about and put in place. How are we going to achieve those goals? Alongside the dreaminess, you may find that you adopt a passive attitude. Again, I'm not knocking that, but make sure you don't remain in that position for too long. Too much of being passive could result in no action being taken at all. Also, there could be an increased tendency towards self-deception, thinking you're further along the path to achieve your goals than you actually are. You may feel that you're out of balance, and it's very likely that you will be feeling very, or maybe I should say, super sensitive. The Moon moves into Taurus, and that energy helps us to keep and grow our money and possessions. And that in turn supports our feelings of security. The focus at this time is firmly on home and family. But alongside that, we also have a strong need, yes, need, to find enjoyment, to let off steam. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Okay, so it's got to the time when I draw 3 cards. Let me just make sure that there's no residual energies left in them. Oh, they're going quite nicely. Very nicely, in fact. Okay, just split the deck and see what we get out. There's number 1. There's number 2. And It's that one. Number 3. Right, let's get these turned over and see what we've got. Oh my, what powerful cards. Okay, so Scorpio, the mysterious one of the zodiac, a lot is happening for you. You've got 3 major arcana cards. That doesn't happen too often. Let's see what messages they have for you. First card is the High Priestess. She is all about being focused, but also recognizing that you're subject to quite intense emotional episodes. I can't criticize that. I'm a Cancerian, so I've got it even more so than you. But it's recognizing those emotions and not letting them control you. The High Priestess is also about being determined. Determined to find your best version of yourself. It's also about trusting your intuition, trusting your gut feelings. Don't ignore them. Your middle card would probably fill most people with dread, but it doesn't need to. It's the Death card. Now, to me, this is all about preparing for the future. It's about clearing out, purifying your space, making space for further development, for further growth. It also reflects your ambitions, because to achieve those ambitions, you need to make space for that growth. There's also a determination around death, a determination to be ready to move forwards when the time comes. And Temperance. Okay, this one is about taking calculated risks, not just jumping in willy-nilly without forethought. It's about keeping yourself grounded, but being prepared to test out new ideas. Think back to what I was saying about trying new methods to reach customers or clients. That is reflected here. This is showing you as well that you are being guided by heavenly bodies, for want of a better expression. Also that you have a lot more abilities than you give yourself credit for. Okay, that was a bit of a marathon one, but that brings us to the end of this week's AstroTarot presentation, and I'd like to say a huge thank you for being here with me and for giving me your attention. I wish you an absolutely fantastic week. I'll be back next week, same place, same time, and I really hope that you will be able to join me again at that time. All that's left for me to say is bye-bye.